Hello everybody, today I'm going to re-record the Meshroom to Fusion tutorial, and that is because there was errors in the previous video that I want to fix in this one, and there's a couple new settings that I didn't know were important before. So I'm hoping to fix all of that. Really sorry that I didn't catch these sooner. I almost never use Fusion, but I do want to incorporate it into my videos and really start learning it more and more along the way. That way you guys don't have to just use Nuke, you can also follow along in Fusion. Anyways, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to make a checkerboard. So you can either make a checkerboard like this in Nuke, or you can just go online and go to Checkerboard Generator. I'll link this one in the description and then just download that image and use that instead. All right, so now with the full screen checkerboard on your monitor, you're just gonna wanna record it like this. And as you can see, I'm just gonna do both checkerboards, the one I made online and the one I made in Nuke, just to show you that they're exactly the same. They're gonna do the same thing, and it doesn't matter which one you use. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into Meshroom. So I'm gonna open it up, and I'm using Meshroom 2023.2.0. If you're having any problems, just jump to that version. But even if you're using a newer version, it should be similar. All right, so now that we're in here, we're gonna go to File, New Pipeline, Distortion Calibration. All right, and it's gonna throw these nodes right here, and these are the nodes that we're gonna need. All right, so now we're gonna wanna drop our video in here, so let me navigate to my video folder. All right, I navigated to where my video files are. So this is the Nuke version of the grid, and this is the online version. We're gonna start with the online version just because, since I've done a bunch of ones from Nuke. So I'm gonna grab this footage, drag, drop, like this, and then it's gonna prompt us for a keyframe selection, and that just means it's gonna grab still frames out of the video. So we'll just hit OK. And then we're gonna grab the keyframe selection. In here, you can put your focal length if you want to. I'm not gonna do that though. It's in millimeters. Anyways, I'm gonna change keyframes file extension to EXR because if you don't at least choose one of these file formats, then it will error out. Now that we have that, I'll just go ahead and save my file. So I'll just call it Lens Distortion Online since it's the online grid. And then let's compute it. Okay, keyframe selection is done. We're gonna go ahead and right click it, open folder, and it's gonna just open up all of these still frames that it extracted. I'm gonna just check the last one to see if it's good. And yeah, that looks good to me. So I will use this, I will drag, drop, just like that. And now we can just compute all of these. So I'm gonna compute the first one, looks good. Compute the second one. Okay, looks good. And right here, I don't know if there's going to be different camera models in the future. Right now, there's only one, but this tutorial is going to be based on 3D Anamorphic 4. So I have a script later on that I'll be utilizing this model, and this whole tutorial is kind of based on this model. So if there's other ones, just choose this one, and then you can experiment later once you get the hang of it. All right, and then the last one we're going to compute. And now that that's done, we right click, open folder, and we're just gonna keep this open so that we can use these later on. But the Meshroom step is done. Okay, so now we are jumping on over to Fusion. And so I have Resolve open. So I'm just in the Edit tab, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab my footage. So it is this one right here. This is the clip that we undistorted in Meshroom. I'm gonna drag and drop. I'm gonna right click, create new timeline, and I'm gonna just call it online. Turn off use project settings because we want to make sure the resolution is correct. This is correct, and the frame rate looks good as well. So make sure we do this first. That way the rest of the steps work correctly. So we hit create, and then now that this timeline's open, I'm gonna click the clip, open in Fusion page, and here we go. We can go ahead and use the script that I have linked in the description. So you're gonna wanna download that, and it's going to be a Python script. So let me go ahead and go to that real quick. So you can see right here that there's this Fusion Meshroom Lens Distort to Fusion version 2.py. So this is a Python script that we are going to use to create the Lens Distort node with the correct values, and we don't have to put them in by hand. Now, the documentation online says that you need to install Python in order to use Python in DaVinci. I have Python installed already. So if you perform the next steps and it says like Python doesn't exist or it's missing or something like that, then you're just gonna wanna download Python, which you can do at python.org. So you can see here, python.org, downloads, and then you can just choose the one that is right for you. I'm on Windows, so it's showing me the Windows version. Okay, here is the Python file. We just need a place to put it. And so let's go ahead and find that place that we need to put it. So we're gonna go to Fusion, go to Fusion settings, and we're going to go to path map. Then we're going to scroll down, and where it says scripts, click on this and click this open folder button right here. And this is just going to tell us where our scripts lie. So then we're going to copy this path, hit cancel again. And we're just going to use this in order to go to this path. So I'm going to go here, and then we're going to go into the comp folder. And once we're in the comp folder, you can see that that my Python file is already there. You wouldn't have it there, so you would just right click, copy this file, and then just go ahead and paste it in here. And now I don't need to do that because, like I said, it's already in here. But once it's in here, then we are good to go. So we're going to go into our script right here, click in here, and we're going to go to Workspace, Scripts, and you should see the script name right here. I'm going to click this script, and this is going to pop up, this dialog, and it's asking for a file path. You're going to browse to the folder where Meshroom exported the nuke file, STMap, and all of the distortion. So earlier I saved that, so I will go to that, which I believe it is this one right here. Yep, export distortion, Meshroom cache. So this file right here, this nuke file, is the one we want. I'm just going to copy this path like that, copy, browse, and I will go to the path right there, and I'm going to grab the nuke file, hit open, and then I'm going to hit open file, and you will see a lens distort node was created with all of the correct parameters. So if I open this, you'll see that this changed to 3D4 anamorphic standard degree 4, like that. All of these values are filled in, and if we go down, there's 2 new values that I did not address in the previous tutorial, but that are extremely important, and it's aperture width right here and aperture height. Now you'll notice that it is pretty much almost exactly the resolution of the plate. You would be correct. Now I'm going to be going over what the script is actually doing and what I got wrong from the previous tutorial, but for now, let me just drag and drop this so you can see that it is working. So you can see right here, it is working perfectly fine, and everything is straightened out very cleanly. And if I duplicate this and change it, let's scroll up to distort, you'll see that it is working both ways. So I can turn it both off and on, and they seem to be working. Okay, quick little disclaimer, everything from this point on is going to be extra. So if you got everything you needed, then you're good to go. But if you're having any problems with your script, or you just want to know more, then go ahead and stick around. I'm going to explain how everything is working behind the scenes, hopefully to help you fix your problem, or just to understand more what's going on and maybe modify the tool for yourself. All right, with that said, let's continue. So I'm going to explain manually what is happening and my major mistakes. So first mistake here. In the previous tutorial, I said, just add a lens distort, go to the correct model, and then just start adding them in order. Copy this, paste it into the first one, go to the next one, paste it into the next one, and so on and so forth, and just keep going in order. When I came back to revisit this, I noticed something, and that is that you can see X, 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 X. So 5 X's in a row, and then down here, Y, 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 5 Y's in a row. And then I look over here and I see that it says CX and then CY. So already you can see the problem where these are alternating between X and Y, and this list right here is not alternating. You can see that this doesn't actually work. Just to prove it to you that it is different, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in all the values like this so you can see really quickly that it is different than the actual truth. Okay, so I added all the values, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to alternate between the 2 different ones. So right now, if I hit 2, I am looking at the correct one. So this is the one that was made with the Python script. And if I click onto this one, you can see it is a little bit different, right? So right here, we're getting really straight edges. But right here, it looks like it's almost correct, but it's like squished a little bit. And you can see some weird bending in here. So it's almost like the algorithm is not perfect. And I mean, it's never going to be like perfect, but you can just see the deviations in like perfection between the correct one here and the incorrect one right there. Okay, and you can even see that the numbers are quite different here. So yeah, very clearly something is wrong. Now that I've addressed that, I want to address the second thing that I got wrong, and that is in the camera settings down here. This number right here, the aperture width and the aperture height, they need to be the same aspect ratio as the resolution. Now, normally, like in Blender and anywhere else, you can kind of just type in the resolution. So you could say 1920 by 1080, and it'll give you the correct aspect ratio. But in this case, the number cannot go above 3. So you can see right here that it won't let me go above 3. In order to get around that, it's just an easy solution. You can type the resolution, so 1920, but just add a period in front of it. All right, so a little decimal right there. Hit enter, and there you go. So again, we'll do the same thing. So we'll put dot, and then we'll put the second resolution, 1080. All right, and that works perfectly fine. So one more time, I'll do that one more time. We'll put dot, and then whatever our resolution is, so our X resolution, is our width, 1920, dot, and then our height, 1080. Okay, so whatever your resolution is, that is what is happening in the script, is it's doing this automatically. So even with that correct change, as you can see, both of them have the same width and height. The numbers still just aren't fully accurate. Now, you're in luck because I actually went through and I figured out what each value was. That is another download that I will have in the description, is this cheat sheet right here, which is just a text file. All it's saying is it's telling you what value in Nuke equals the one in Resolve. So what this means is if we want to put x00's value, so if we copied this, if we wanted to put it somewhere, we'd look here to see where. So CX02, CX02, that's where we would actually paste this, okay? And then so on and so forth. So you would just go to the next one and you'd say X01, that would go down here, which is CX04. Find CX04, it's down here. So you're seeing right now already that the order is very different than from the first tutorial that I told you. And if I were to keep doing this, then it would actually match. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do that so you can see for sure that it would match. All right, so I input all the values. I'm going to go ahead and go down here to the width and height and make sure that it is dot, width resolution, dot, height of resolution. Okay, and now if we look at this one and then we look here, they are exactly the same. Okay, so this is the ground truth. This is the one that is true, that is real. And this is the one that we just did. You can see they're the same. And if we look at their numbers here, and I switch between them, exactly the same. Okay, so that's what the script is doing for us. And as you can tell, it would be very, very annoying to do this every single time, which is why I wrote the script, so you did not have to do this every single time. Just to be thorough, I'm gonna go over the script very briefly. All right, just at the top right here, you can see this whole section right here is written by Andrew Hazelden, and it's just the UI. So it's everything related to, you know, that browse and choose a file thing. All of that is the UI stuff. And it actually came in Fusion Reactor, which is kind of like an add-on thing for Resolve. So if you go scripts, UI manager, and Python file dialog right here, this is the script that I used as a starting point. And then I just worked from there. And then it spits out at the end here the file path into a variable called file path. All right, then we move on to the next section. This is just a Python way of reading the file. So it's like as if you were to open the text file yourself. So if you opened it yourself like this, it's doing the same thing. So it's just reading the contents as if it was a text file. And then lastly down here, this is where all of the stuff is happening, and this is the part that I wrote. Okay, so this part is just making a list by splitting up the string. And it's splitting up the string by anytime there's a space or a new line, then it causes a split and it makes a new item. Okay, so then we're just left with a bunch of items. I made another list that grabs a specific range of items. So we're grabbing starting from this index, ending at this index, and skipping every two, just because that was the way to grab the numbers I wanted. So that way it is basically saying we're going to skip everything, but we're going to grab this number, this number, this number, this number, this number, etc., all the way down to these ones right here. Okay? And when it's done with that, they are still strings. So I had to float them. So I looked online and this was the way to float them. All right, so then we move down and this is just a way to interact with Fusion using Python. So I added a tool. It's this tool. So this is the string name of the tool. Then down here, I passed the model name. So you'll notice there's no 3, but that just happened to be what it was, is there was no 3. And the only reason I found out what even that was is if you type in Undistort down here and you look at this, you can see down here, if you look at the bottom left down here, it'll tell you the name. You see that name down there? So that's how I knew what string it would be. And then here, this is just picking the right index. So like how I said that it's not in order, this is doing that correct order. Like it's putting things where they should go, and so that you don't have to. And then lastly, all this is doing is it's getting the timeline resolution and then dividing by 10,000 so that we can get that decimal thing going. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole script. Pretty simple. If you want to change it, you can. Feel free, go ahead. But that's just what I have, and that's what I wrote. So that's the whole script. Okay, so now that we have the Undistort, we can use the Undistort. So, of course, the whole point is not to undistort a grid, it's to undistort your footage. That's the whole reason for doing this. So finally, now that we've done this, we can actually undistort our footage. So let's find the distorted footage, which happens to be this one right here. Okay, so this .mov, let's just throw it into our Fusion right here, our composition. And then let me just look at it to make sure it's working. And yep, it seems to be working. And we'll go to this frame right here just because you can really see like the distortion like kind of bending right here. So let's go ahead and add our ground truth. So let's get rid of all of these other, and just to be fully sure, I'm just gonna do this all over again. So I'm just gonna go workspace scripts, grab the script, browse, and then I'm just gonna browse to the .nuke. So it's right there, open file. All right, and it reset everything. Yep, everything looks correct. Let me just double check the camera, make sure it's correct resolution. It is 1920 by 1080. Let's go ahead and throw this into our Undistort right here and look at it. Like that, and wow, that is a lot of undistortion. But you can see that everything looks very good. It is straightening it out perfectly. There's nothing else to say about it. It is just working, as you can see right here. And if you want to reverse this, then it will also work. All right, distort. There we go. Let's just look at the media out. And if I turn them off, turn them back on, you can see they're working. So everything is working perfectly, and it's pretty much smooth sailing from here. So you can decide how you want to use these. Now, this is a good time to address something, and that is STMaps. Okay, so we're going to look at the first issue with using STMaps, and the first one is with the Undistort node. So if we go to the folder really quick, let's go to it, where the .nk is, you'll see distort and undistort STMaps. So we're going to grab undistort first. All right, and we'll look at it. Okay, it's got an alpha, weirdly, but if we look at the Undistort node at its Undistort, you'll see that it extends past the borders, but it's kept, right? It is not deleted. Now, if we try to do the same thing, so I'm going to go ahead and add a texture node in here, and I'm going to apply this to it, and we will look at it. All right, we have to switch these, so let's swap inputs like this. All right, so here's our first problem, which is that the texture node does some weird stuff if this has alpha, so we need to add a background node so that the alpha goes away. So we'll do that. All right, that looks fine, but you can see already that even though it looks identical to the Undistort node, the Undistort node is keeping all of this information, whereas the texture node is removing it. So if we were to put this in here and look here, you can see that all of this information is getting cut off, whereas in the Undistort node, it's kept and it doesn't get thrown away. Okay, so that's one of the major problems. The only way around that is that the ST Undistort map needs to be rendered with overscan in it. baked into it. So it needs to be a higher resolution that encompasses that extra border right there. So whatever border we get, so this 2104 1183, it needs to render at this resolution in order to work. And I don't think that Meshroom can do that. Not that I'm aware of. I think Synthesize and 3DE do this already automatically and like Mocha. As far as I know, I don't think that Meshroom does that. The second problem is that even if we were to use this, so if we were to use this right here and just ignore all of this, so we were to say, all right, let's just use the STMap in order to redistort it back into place. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I will add a distort node right here. Here's our distortion. And then let me get rid of this one right here. And we will just look at the media out, plug this in. Okay, and let's add a texture map. Let's do this, throw that there, and do this. And of course, we got to flip them, Control T. And then again, the same thing, the alpha problem. So we got to merge so that we can give it an alpha. This is where I miss nuke, because you can just shuffle in filled alpha. And you can do stuff like that. Okay. Let's change these. Okay. Now you can see that it is redistorted, but there's some weird multiplication here, like where the edge of frame is being wrapped, I guess. And I don't know if that is because of me, like maybe I'm missing something here. But as far as I know, I don't really know how to fix that. So that's another problem that I am seeing here. And yeah, changing all of these, I'm not really seeing a way to fix this. It seems that the edges are just kind of messed up. And if we compare that with a actual redistortion, like this, and we redistort, you can see that there is no weird repeating at the edges, but there is with this one. And I am not really sure how to fix that. Maybe some reformats and stuff. And there might be some math or something that you can do to get this to work. I just don't know what it is yet, because I usually use lens distortion nodes, but maybe I'll figure that out one day. So that's just my viewpoint on STMaps. Okay, so that is the end of the tutorial. I really don't have any more to add, and I'm sorry it's kind of long, but I just really wanted to be thorough and really fix the mistakes that I had in the previous one. I do actually have more tutorials coming, but I don't know when they'll be done because I just do them whenever I can. But there's some stuff for like Blender and just VFX stuff in general that I'm getting done. All right, hope you have a good day. Happy compositing, and bye.